Hello and welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So of course, across the weekend, Saturday night, Sunday morning, we had the awesome trailer for the Batman revealed, which is obviously a DC Fandom event. Gotta say, side note about DC Fandom, it is really telling, no matter what you think of DC and Marvel and kind of, you know, the sort of competition between the two, but how good was it to have hype again for movies? You know, like DC Fandom, that event, and the reveals, and the articles, and the videos, all of that is what San Diego Comic-Con at home should have been. But it wasn't. And I just thought that was a really interesting point, because, you know, for me and what I do, San Diego Comic-Con is a write-off. It's a weekend where I literally just sit here, and I'm covering this, and I'm covering that, and I'm talking about this, and I'm writing this, and I'm like, oh my god, reacting to this. It's a hectic weekend, and it's fun, and I really enjoy it. And this was that, because San Diego Comic-Con at home, there was literally nothing to even talk about. And I just thought that was really good. We're starting to get that sort of uptick again, people getting really happy about movies, and I like it. But of course, like I said, the trailer dropped, and I think this is probably one of the most hyped things that came out of DC Fandom. We had the Wonder Woman 1984 trailer. You know, it was pretty positive. People seemed to like it, except for the cheetah CGI. Said it was really off, and it was really off. But all in all, yeah, fine. But this was like make or break, because you got a lot of naysayers and you got people, you know, being really positive. I myself, I really like the trailer. I'm all in. Like, I'm absolutely all in for this. I think this is really good, and kind of what you need Batman to be now, given the sort of trend of what we have had recently. I think this is a good Batman choice. So off the back end of that, we're obviously getting interviews with Matt Reeves and such. And one of the really interesting things was during the DC Fandom panel on Saturday, Matt Reeves started to talk about the design of certain bits and pieces. Namely, for me, like, I'm a big fan of cars, and he spoke about the car as well as the Batsuit. So he said, while I was writing, I actually already had a production designer on, and so he would be sending as I'm writing scenes. I might send stuff to James, and he's like, oh, well, what about this for a Batcave? Which is, of course, we saw the Batcave in the trailer, which looks like an abandoned subway station that you get to via a cemetery, which is an interesting take. Interesting. And so Matt Reeves continues and says, and so yes, we had to build a set for it, but I think it's an incredibly original and different set. I think it's going to be really fun for the audience to discover what version of exactly this Batcave is going to be. Now, I thought, looking at it, it could be a crypt for his parents. It could be their crypt, or it could be, because it looks like you get to it via a cemetery. But it also looks like it's an abandoned subway station, or part of it. It's very strange. It's almost like it's outside, but it's not. And obviously him being Bruce Wayne, he's got so much money, more money than you could ever dream of. So I've got the potential. I think it could be a crypt for his parents, which would be really strange, but quite cool, I think. But I like it, and I think that's really good. So anyway, he comes on and then starts talking about the Batsuit and the Batmobile, because of course, you know, Batcave's quite an interesting design choice and things like that. And then he says, I mean, Glyn Dillon came on quite early, and we worked in the designing of it. Again, as I was writing, and the idea of him being able to fight in it. So they started illustrating, and I'd say we spent easily a year to do the Batsuit, and then to get into the Batmobile. And that, of course, that part's a dream. The idea of getting to do your own version of the Batmobile, you're just kind of like, what? That's the incredible candy, right? Now, a lot of people really don't like the Batsuit because of the ears, and also because he's got mascara on. That's quite comic accurate, the mascara situation. Well, I don't even know if it's mascara. I don't wear makeup, do I? But it's the eye stuff, you know, because in the trailer he takes it off and he's got the eye. It's all dark and stuff, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's My Chemical Romance. It's like, well, I think past a certain point, there's little reason to kind of bitch and moan about it, because I feel that's very comic accurate, and I think that's quite... It makes sense, you know? How would he have darkened eyes otherwise? You know, like, it's not going to be moulded to his face, is it? So, of course, they'd have to be blacked out somehow. So I quite like that. I don't hate this design choice. I think it's a really quite neat-looking batsuit. And I've got my problems with Robert Pattinson, the fact that he said he wasn't working out and stuff like this. I still think he's a bit of a bitch for that. But by and large, I'm very, very positive for this film. The car, on the other hand, I love. Like, no one's going to convince me that that's a bad car. That's an awesome car. So anyway, there was all of this, and this was really good. This was great to hear. Like, I like this stuff. Like, what do you guys think about the Batcave? Do you think the Batcave is going to be a cemetery, looking like a crypt situation? Do you think it's a subway station? What do you think it is? What do you think could be so original? Because that's what he's saying. He said it's incredibly original. What do you think? It has to be way out there. You know, I say crypt, and I'm sure some people are like, what are you talking about? But he's saying incredibly original. That is quite original, I think. So let me know your thoughts on that. And also, if you're one of the people that really dislike the suit, please tell me why. And the same with the car. I'd love to know why. But that's not all. There was some more information. Okay, so he started to talk about, you know, Gotham City, and just bits and pieces, really. Just, again, more information. So he says the nature of what this place is and the history of it is critically important to our story. One of the things that I really wanted to do, because it is the centre of the story, especially the history of corruption in the city, was I wanted to present it in a way that was really fleshed out. I wanted it to feel like an American city you'd never been to. The Burton one had very, very theatrical, beautiful, beautiful sets, and Nolan had the version that he created in Batman Begins, and that was a particular thing, and then parts of Chicago and parts of Pittsburgh. What we're trying to do is create a version of it that you haven't seen before. The idea is to go to Liverpool, where there's all the foundation of the Gothic architecture, and then add all of the more modern structures in through CG, but in a way that you have, in a way that when you see the movie, now that I've blown it, of course, I've told you that it is, but you'll be like, hey, where's that city? Where did they shoot? And so the aspect of Gotham and realising it has been, for me, one of the great pleasures in getting to mount the movie. So there you go. Like, we knew that they were filming in Liverpool, which is obviously in the UK. I love this. How cool is that? I still feel that they're going... Oh, I should have scrolled down. I still feel that they're going for very much Batman the Animated Series, because that was that sort of noir, retro, modern, future thing. Super odd, but I love this. The animated series is the best thing. Best Batman thing ever. But what do you guys think? Again, let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. If you're new here, please do hit subscribe to stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news. You can also turn the bell notifications on. Check you're subscribed, guys, because a lot of people have been coming on recently saying, hey, I'm no longer subscribed. I didn't do anything. What's happening? And that's just YouTube screwing with people. So it is what it is, but check it out and double check. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I haven't missed age. Take care.